Close it.
You want it on this circle?
No. In between.
In between. Also.
So, the head must be that way.
This way.
Place it down.
We can place it this one.
Yeah. Put a light on it. Bottom.
This one? Yeah, leave it.
Bigaji.
You will do that now. With wood sandal. Put it in here. Sprinkle it. Yeah, the rose. You can take that and this.
It must show the gruesome parts, like, you know, and all. I just want it to be dignified, so people don't get too much all the gruesome parts, see? And don't show mom.
before the flood is happening. Yeah, quick before the flood, and you drain it.
Yeah, just towards the river.
And then you leave it.
Yeah, when they're leaving, then people are lost. Come, please. Bring it, please. And then wash your hands. No, I don't have enough to show you. I did it already. closer to the face.
Yeah, yeah.
I should be sure.
She said it is lagging.
Where all the stuff?
You see everything, all the pretty things are here. All, everything. Chairs, all the pretty things are here. I put everything here.
Yes. Let's move. Come out here.
Throw the thing.
No.
Take the stuff out.
You don't throw it. Throw it. Yeah.
Take this off. You take it out. Take this off too. Take this off.
Yeah. Come around. You take the box out, and then you take that thing out and then record it. Yep.
Straight, yeah. Got it.
That's right. Look.
They're not sharp edges, huh?
How do you
Okay.
If you put the flowers closer to the head, the decor.
I think put the spray that, okay, what, closer to the... Huh? Flowers. No, they're not gonna walk it. Walk it like that.
And the sandalwood thing must not just.
Yeah.
Anything I said?
I can see. Yeah.
Corgi.
Can pull the chairs closer.
No.
No, no. Closer.
Get the flowers.
Yeah. So bring open the gate here and bring it through here. You didn't like the... No, you have to because I got the list.
There was in your phone.
Yeah.
Send it to me. Oh, I sent it to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Why are you wasting my time? Oh, this year. Let's do that now. Let's play. Let's play cat. Let's play lamb. Let's play pot here. No, that's all.
No, there's another one.
होता good at. Put them somewhere else, yeah. Put it in the shower. Put a sanitizer here. Anyone comes. Oh, no. They're not
this is music teacher.
Bluetooth was off. It was off. It was off. What? Let's see. What's that? This one. Like that. Like that. It is. Well, get another week. Yeah. So really, boy. Put something there. Full of water. What can I stop it?
Matchsticks are.
Yeah.
afternoon and welcome everybody to our gathering for our dearly departed Mrs. Kamla Athmaram, known affectionately to most of us as Aji, Ma, Nani, Motupua, and our Benji, as well as many other titles she held during her time with us. A special welcome to our Pandiji, Brother Shikisun, who has joined us for the proceedings today. And for those of you who are joining us virtually and from abroad, a very warm welcome to all of you, and thank you for availing yourselves today as we bid a final farewell to Aji. I'd like to begin the proceedings today with a prayer. When Pandiji is ready, she can begin for us.
Shall we all rise? तुझसे ही पात प्राण हम दुख और कष्ट हरता है तू तेरा महान तेज है छाया हुआ सब स्थान में सृष्टि की वस्तु वस्तु में सृष्टि रहा विद्यमान है तेरा ही धरते ध्यान हम मांगते तेरी दया ईश्वर हमारी बुद्धि को श्रेष्ठ मार्ग पर चला ओम भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्.
शरीरं शरीरेष्वनवस्तेष्वस्थितं महान्तं विभुना आत्मनं मत्वा धीरो न शोधति. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you. Be seated.
Thank you very much, Vanessa. To begin, and for everyone's safety, could I please remind everybody to maintain strict COVID protocols? Please have your masks on at all times. Please make sure that you sanitize your hands frequently throughout today's proceedings, and please maintain a social distance of at least 1 meter at all times. Thank you very much. I remember Aji as a very remarkable woman and whose ideas far preceded her time. She was both innovative and an astute and enterprising businesswoman. But first, she was a steadfast wife to her husband, the late Manikchand Athmaram, a loving mother to her 4 children, a doting grandmother to her 7 grandchildren, and an adoring great-grandmother to her 6 grandchildren, for all of whom she would give the world to spend her time with. My family and I were very fortunate to have shared our home. It was a privilege, really, to have Aji with us for some years, and we were enriched by her presence and a leader and an elder of her caliber. Rich with memory, she would keep us entertained with anecdotes from her youth, recounting her family heritage and tales of her father, Supujan Badi, their travels from India, and stories of her life as a doyen of Indian culture. Recalling her memories of building her business as a pioneering businesswoman of her time, a butcher woman, something unprecedented for those times. She still managed to balance all her other roles in life, never compromising with anything she put her attention to. Aji, you will be so sorely missed by so many people whose lives you have molded and whom you have imparted your strength and courageous character. The family have selected a few songs which we will play as interludes during today's proceedings. The first song we will begin with now. The first tribute I'll read you today comes from Nirvana Naidu, who is Aji's oldest granddaughter. She writes, "My dearest Aj, you are a force of a woman, cherished by everyone that had the opportunity to meet you. But to me, you are more than my Aji. You are my comfort, my place of solace. You put me at ease just by being there. My place of safety and unconditional love from the moment you fed me my first bottle of milk when I was born. We formed a bond like no other, an unspeakable bond. You were always there for me when I needed you. We were kindred spirits, sharing so many character traits. We enjoyed each other's company in the simplest of things, like saying the Hanuman Chalisa together every Tuesday. You were relatable on so many levels. A generation between us meant nothing when we watched Friends together. You were full of life, laughter, and energy. Age was just a number to you. This is how I will always remember you. I couldn't see you any other way. To your grandchildren, you remained a wise, strong, independent woman, defined by your immense love for your family. We will cherish your memories that you have imparted to us in our lifetime forever. I will miss hearing your voice. When I call you from Brisbane, you always ask me, when are you coming? I can still hear it now, and I hope to never forget that sweet sound. You are my connection to my daddy ever since he passed away, and now I know you are happiest being with him. I'm so happy you have spent time with Neha before we emigrated to start a new life for our family. And I regret that Zara will only know you through our precious videos. You were so special and endearing. Gordon still talks so fondly about you. He loved having you around for holidays. You were always a short flight away for us, and it has been hard not having that privilege for the last few years. Thank you for leaving us with so many precious memories to tell your great-grandchildren. I will miss you forever, and that place in my heart will always be there just for you. I love you to the moon and back. Your first grandchild, Nirvana." Our next speaker will be Nirvana's brother and Aji's oldest grandson, Dr. Nitendra Manikchand.
Namaste everyone. Thank you for joining us today to say goodbye to my Aji. As mentioned already, I was privileged to have spent a good 5 to 6 years recently with my granny. We were honored to have her stay with us, and our house is filled with memories of her. Whether it being the rhythmical tap of her cane as she walked up and down the stairs, there was a comfort in knowing that she was around always. Her stories that she shared with us of her trips to India with her father, administering insulin to him and testing his urine for his sugar level on a Bunsen burner, will always hold very strong memories and vivid images in my mind. As mentioned, our granny has imparted many of our character traits on most of our family. Our larger-than-life personalities are certainly something we've inherited from her. She taught us to love unconditionally like no other, and I think we all love unconditionally with her heart. We shared a very different relationship to most grandkids and grannies. For 3 years of my life, my granny was my mother to both myself and my younger sister. And then at the end of her life, or towards the end of her life, I became the carer. She certainly wasn't the easiest patient. I know exactly what I will be like in the future. but I think she definitely got a lease on life from the time she spent with us. And we certainly did as well. I'll always have memories of her through my own daughter, who mimics her characteristic way that she eats, and had a tea, even slurping it the way she did. And I'll never forget that feeling of seeing her and the way she would cry out, "My baby," when she sees me every morning. Whether I was coming back from work or waking up every morning, it was probably the best way to wake up, and I don't think I'll ever have a better way of waking up than hearing those words. I love you, Arj, and I'll never forget you, and your memories will live on through us. Thank you.
Thank you very much for those words. We'll have another song now. This one I think has been specially selected as one of Arj's favorites.
आसान होता है
continue now with some more tributes. The first one was received from Shoka Manikchand, one of Aji's younger granddaughters. She writes to us from Cape Town saying, "Dear Aji, when I think of you, I see your smiling face, and I know that you're smiling now, resting peacefully, united with your family that left you too early. When I think of you, I think of strength, power, and longevity. When I think of you, I think of the wisdom you have shared with us. A great legacy that will be continued on because you have built a family on smiles, strength, power, longevity, and wisdom. One day we will meet again, and then I'll have stories to share with you that will make you proud of the legacy you have left behind. Until then, keep smiling for us." The next tribute comes from Tashmil Manikchand, all the way from South Korea. She could not be with us today, but has shared these words. "Writing this is really hard from across the world. There's so much to say, but at the same time, I'm struggling to write it down, and so I'm going to keep it short. Aji was and will forever be one of the most amazing women and role models in my life. She paved the way for this whole family, and I don't think any of us could thank her enough for the strength and resilience she gave us. I think most of you know how each and every one of us had our own relationship with Aji. My relationship with her was full of laughter. We would just laugh at anything and everything. We always had fun together, and that's how I will remember her. My Aji and I used to take walks with the maid and our dog Ojo, who's probably sitting back next to her feet right now, keeping her toes warm. Every day at the same time, we would walk around the block, and she would talk about such things as her life and, of course, the best old lady gossip. It was always so juicy. Actually, thinking back on it now, maybe she's always asked me to go walking because she wanted me to lose weight. That didn't really work out, but I got to spend time with her, and that is something I will always cherish. There's a lot of things Aji has taught me over the years. Some small things, like don't leave your hair wet or you'll get sick, to some larger lessons, such as to always take pride in yourself. Being who I am today, I know for a fact that Aji played the biggest role in that because she was a hero, a living legend, and if it wasn't for her, none of us would be who we are today. We draw strength from a person who overcame so much in her lifetime. We owe it to Aji to be the absolute best versions of ourselves because she didn't go through what she did for us just to be mediocre. It's something I tell myself to always strive to be the best me. Aji, I wish I was there to properly say goodbye and to thank you for every lesson and for everything you have done. I will miss you so much, but at the same time, I know you are in a better place and you are finally at peace. You meant the world to me, and I love you tremendously." We will have another song now, and then we will have the final few tributes and speeches to be read. So as we had mentioned earlier, Aji had many roles, not just as a businesswoman or as a mom, grandmother and great-grandmother. She was also a pivotal part of the Saraswati Maila Mandal, and they have sent a tribute from Mrs. Meera Singh, which I will read to you today. Prem Namaste, respected elders, dear brothers and sisters, and our dear little ones. With heavy hearts and deep sadness, we received the news of Maji Kamla Manikchand's passing away. On behalf of all the members of the Saraswati Maila Mandal, may I express our heartfelt condolences to Maji's beloved children, Shashika and Naren, their dear spouses, as well as the spouses of her late children, Ivan and Rajan, all her precious grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Maji served the Mandal with earnestness, dedication, commitment, and distinction. The Mandal is a cultural women's organization in existence for 60 years. Its aims and objectives were initially concerned with the empowerment and upliftment of Indian women in the community of Amklatuzana and its surrounding areas, religiously, educationally, socially, as well as culturally. Maji participated actively in all its affairs, be it learning Hindi and writing exams, showing her exceptional talent in drama and winning many gold medals at Eisteddfods organized by the Hindi Shiksha Sangh, engaging in the various fundraising and seva projects, being at the forefront in the establishment of Playtime Nursery School for little ones in Amklatuzana, where there was a dire need for this, and the list goes on. On a personal note, I shall remember Maji as a warm, vibrant, and caring person. She was very close to my mum, Mrs. Bal Ganesh, founder member and very first president of the Mandal, and visited our home almost on a daily basis. A lot of endearing, happy, quality moments were shared between them. She accepted my dad as her leader, elder brother, and every year she would tie a Rakhi on his wrist on Raksha Bandhan Day. Her passing always brings down the curtains of a great era of souls whose shoulders we shall stand tall and strong on today. There is no death, but life. Life, only life, is as Atma is our true reality. Go well, Maji. May your Atma attain abode of eternal peace. And she ends with Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. That message was from Mrs. Meera Singh, the current president of the Saraswati Maila Mandal. I will continue now with tributes from Aji's nieces. The first is from Lulu Mahabir, who is here today, and she writes, a tribute to my dear aunt Motopua. Namaste, dear friends and family. This very sad time has arrived for us today to say our final farewell to my dearest Motopua. I will speak on behalf of my sisters Priya and Shanu as well, because our loving Motopua saw us all as her 3 daughters, from our birth to her very end. This bonding was even before her marriage to my wonderful uncle, Manikchand Mama. The close relationship we shared in our families, as most of us here are aware of, lasted up until forever. She was a pillar of strength and a source of family support in every stage of our development. During our teenage years, she stitched our fashionable clothes and inspired us on our social, educational, and vocational endeavors. This loving, caring did not stop even after we got married. She made sure that we were dressed appropriately for every occasion, carefully adjusting our saris and dupattas. We just had to look perfect in her eyes. Motopua was a highly intelligent and astute woman. She was graceful, elegant, and beautiful. She was very successful in business. At the time, she was sociable and fun-loving, and she loved to travel. She traveled through Europe, the USA, and many, many times to India, especially with my mom. And she was surely present at Shanu's 2 sons' wedding in India. She had to be part of the entourage and festivities. She had to be an essential part of every function in our family. Motopua lived a long and happy life. As we bid her farewell, we wish her peace in her journey moving on. May Paramatma grant her soul attain the abode of eternal liberation and moksha. Thank you very much for those lovely words. Our last tribute comes from Mrs. Shano Goku, all the way from London. She's Lulu Benji's sister. She says, Namaste, dear friends and family. It is with the heaviest heart that I am paying tribute to my most loving and caring Motopua. I am devastated not to be there to pay my love and respect to her. My earliest recollection of Motopua was from when I was about 4 years old. Whenever I was reprimanded, I would cry by calling out her name. I did not have to tell Motopua that I needed her. She would know and be there for me whenever she was needed, in good times, to celebrate any occasion, or when I required her support in trying times. I vividly remember, on one occasion, I was very unwell, on the day Motopua was having prayers and had a lot of guests over at her home. She had left her guests to sit by me because she was worrying. Only when I managed to convince her that I was feeling much better did she leave my side. She almost fulfilled the void left by my daddy, because in whatever way possible she would interact with Priya, Lulu and I, and make sure she was always there for us, taking us for drives, drive-in theatre and picnics, where she would swim and build sandcastles with us. The only place I loved going for holidays was to her house, where I felt totally at home. I'm not sure that many know that Motopua was an excellent dressmaker and sewed us the most beautiful dresses. She always wanted us to look our best, and no matter where we were, if something was not right, she wouldn't hesitate to put it right. Motopua adored Daddy, and she very often told me that I was very much like him. This used to really make me feel on top of the world. On the other hand, Priya and Lulu often told me that I sounded and was just like Motopua, which also made me feel wonderful compared to her. Motopua never made a mistake as to who called her. She would recognize my voice immediately, and her first line would be, "It is so good to hear your voice," and then would ask me when I was coming back, as she was missing me. Her goodbyes were always, "Give my love to Varshan and Madhushan and the grandchildren," all of whom she regarded as her very own. I would like to add that even in my 60s, she would still call me baby. And once, when questioned, she replied that I was so small when Daddy passed away. I think she always thought of me as that little girl. Motopua, I'm going to love and miss you forever, but it's now time for you to rest in peace. Love you, Motopua. That is from Shano Goku from London. Thank you very much for those words. We'll have a speech, spoken tribute now from Surina Jetty, who is Aji's granddaughter.
Namaste to all. A grandmother is a remarkable woman. She's a wonderful combination of warmth and kindness, laughter, and love. She remembers all of your accomplishments and forgets all of your mistakes. And that was the epitome of my dearest Nani. Nani always loved her granddaughters wearing traditional Indian attire and long dresses. Yeah. And today, Nani, I honor and salute you as I pay tribute to you standing here dressed in a sari. Nani was a conservative and a most righteous and proud Hindu woman, proud of her culture and proud of her heritage. She instilled the values of Hindu Dharma in my cousins and I from an early age. I remember fondly my days as a child, attending the weekly Havan, which was held in our community, and I attended with her, and of the Hindi Eisteddfests she encouraged us to participate in. I certainly inherited my appreciation of Hindi music from Nani, and I just realized that as I was sitting listening. And you know, in times of tragedy, and I think when you're suffering the trauma, you don't realize, and as I was sitting and thinking about it, I just realized this is where, and I think it's even with Narayan Mama, that's where I think our family gets the appreciation of the Hindi music and the words and the lyrics and the depth of the depth of the music. You know, further, I also know where I get the appreciation of the sweeter things in life, namely the desserts and the treats that I like. And that is also from Nani. And she, as a diabetic, she never failed to trick me into adding another canderel in a tea every time, each time I made her a cup of tea, and also never failed to add a biscuit or a slice of cake or something nice whenever she had a cup of tea. So I think I certainly get that from Nani. Nani loved all of us unconditionally, despite all of our flaws. She was kind, she was giving, she cared for us all dearly. I'll never forget the meals she lovingly prepared for us, even the simplest of meals. I loved the fried fish she did with dal and rice, and I loved the delicious dry vermicelli that she did. And I loved her biryanis. Well, at least we know the talent and that skill is passed on to Mummy and hopefully to me someday. She taught me how to knit. And Nani made us all the most beautiful scarves and jerseys. And I know she made the most and she was the most creative with her needlework too. Nani lived a long and accomplished life. She was hardworking. I remember she used to tell me the stories of when she dressed in a sari every day to the butchery, and she would be cutting up meat and always attired in a sari. She was an astute businesswoman. She was a well-traveled woman and a well-read woman. She was strong-willed and she was resilient despite the loss she'd suffered in her life and the hardship she endured. She was also a stubborn lady, and she was feisty at times. But with all of this rolled into one personality, she was so deeply loved by all those around her, and she was held in such high regard by all. Nani and I shared the same star sign, and we always got on like a house on fire, and we always had loads to talk about, especially when I was younger. I always admired Nani for her style and for her grace, and that's the way I'll always want to remember her. I'm so grateful that my daughter, Diara, was blessed to meet and to spend time with her great-grandmother, Big Nani. I'll never forget that I've got a video of her saying to Nani, Big Nani, it's not Kiara. I think Nani was obviously failing, her hearing was failing her. And she kept saying, it's not Kiara, my name is Diara, D-I-Y-A-R-A. And these videos and these memories are so precious and will be treasured, you know, till eternity. Nani, I'm glad you're free from pain toward the end of your life and that you're resting peacefully now. And you'll forever be in my heart and in all of our hearts. And thank you for the love that you've showered me with in this lifetime. And I love you dearly, Nani, and you'll be sorely missed.
Wow, that's
Thank you very much, sir. And thank you for sharing some of the lighter moments. In our years with RG at home, we also had some of those lighter moments. You're reminding me of her penchant for sweet things. Yes, I could never make the soji sweet enough. I think at one time I introduced 2 cups of sugar into the soji and she was still not satisfied. It was made the right way. So I gave up on that. Yes, I recall clearly it would take 2 or 3 canderels as well to sweeten her tea and coffee enough in the morning. And one of the lessons she taught me is to be a steadfast and be a strong wife, but to do it in a strategic way. So, Nitin will not be happy for me to share this, but I will tell you anyway. So he would return from a boys' night out, a little bit noisily. Somehow the walls of the house seemed to have closed in on him on that night, and he made a lot of noise and woke her up. And she was not happy with this. So she would come to me quietly in the kitchen the next morning and say, Doll, you know, the way he carries on I'm not happy with. I said, Aji, not knowing exactly what she meant. And she would proceed to say that, no, it's not right, the children are so small, you're alone in the night, don't let it carry on like this. But don't tell him anything now. Let him sleep. When he wakes up tomorrow, when he's quiet, you just call him one side and you tell him, I don't like what you're doing. But don't go there now. You're angry and he's tired, just leave him, let him sleep. And she told me this on several occasions. I wonder why it was necessary to mention this to me so many times, but she made sure that in her time that she stayed with us, that she imparted her advice on how to be enterprising. I remember being quite upset the one morning, getting up to work very early, and it was a Saturday, and I was, quite upset and bitter about having to get up to go to work. And she said, Doll, you look like you're in a hurry, but don't worry. Just be happy that you are working. God is good. You've got a job. You will put a roof over your head. You will put food on your table. You will take care of your children. And I think those were the very important lessons she taught me in the time she lived with us. And I think we share the same sentiment as a family, that we're very privileged to have her with us, and those memories will stay with us forever. Our final speaker will be Dr. Yashoda Manichan, and she's come all the way from East London this morning to spend this time with us. So over to you, Yash.
Namaste everyone. This is for my Aji. We commemorate the life of a great and powerful woman today, the epitome of a strong matriarch who lives on in the legacy that this family continues for her. She was a builder of foundations that became the rock that supported the creations of others. In her 91 years, she has seen decades of life, in her suffering and her joy, in the lives of her loved ones, and the birth and creation of new generations. She saw herself grow, her family grow, and this country grow. She witnessed the Indian diaspora, the life and works of Mahatma Gandhi, who she admired greatly, the injustices of apartheid, and the rise of the revolution and the birth of a new democracy. She witnessed a world war, the advent of television, man landing on the moon, and telephones becoming handheld computer screens that she used to visit her great-grandchildren in Australia. I understood who she was from the stories from her youth. As the youngest daughter in her family, she was her father's and brother's pet favorite. They instilled in her the pride and confidence in accepting nothing less than she deserved, and she lived her life that way. Her discipline and work ethic showed in later years, supporting her husband by being the backbone of a thriving business while raising 4 children. Her children were the light of her life, and later her grandchildren, and then her great-grandchildren. We are very fortunate to have enjoyed her presence through so many of our milestones. And her great-grandchildren now have memories of Big Auntie to carry with them to remind them where they came from. Leila has learned her mannerisms well, like Baya mentioned, and does a great impression, or rather homage, to Aji wielding her walking stick. I feel so fortunate to have and to be able to share some of my memories from recent years. Memories of sitting outside with her on Baya's deck in the morning sun while she read the paper, her crashing the party outside Narenkakas, to catch the ladies with drinks in their hands, and then proceeding to show us her dance moves during the music. Her Midas touch in the kitchen with her cooking, giving her the license, she thought, to judge any meal made by a daughter-in-law or granddaughter-in-law. Her daily walks with Ojo, or sneaking a piece of her toast to Milo, and any furry companion who she treated like part of the family. The constant background noise of Hindwani radio station when I visited her room to hear her stories of the good old days. She didn't express the typical archetype of the soft, squishy, timid grandmother. Instead, she was the Shakti, the feminine power and the shaper of great men and women. A fierce protector and steadfast supporter. I will always be grateful for my earliest memories with Aji, how she cared for Baya and I with both love and discipline, spoiling us with mutton curry and dal roti, but also keeping us in check. My morning coconut oil hair treatments and excessively neat and painful fish plats. Our weekly butterfly classes where we learned to do hawand that were non-negotiable. She was a champion of a Indian heritage, instilling in her progenies the appreciation for their native language and culture, and passing on the wisdom of our religion through tradition and prayer. I'm sure all of us would say that her beliefs and values influenced our approach to our spirituality in some way. Who of her grandchildren can say they cannot perform a hawan or recite the Hanuman Chalisa? She was no shrinking violet, and whenever I face injustice and oppression, it is her fire that rises within me to fight for myself and those around me. The women in this family carry the strength of our convictions and perseverance for success in a patriarchal world. Her early influence on our lives showed us the example of a strong, independent female in a world that may have shown us differently. These gifts will always be with us. Her life came with hardships and happiness, love and loss, and it seemed part of her left this world with my father when he passed. He left her here to watch over us in his absence. At her moment of freedom, I have no doubt that Daddy was there, along with Dada, Rajan Kaka, Big Aji, her beloved parents and brother, and many more, to greet her, welcome her home, and accompany her into the next part of her magnificent journey. She leaves behind Darren Kaka and Pua, her grandchildren and great-grandchildren, and all of us who loved her for who she was. The tough exterior with a soft heart, who loved her family so dearly, it sometimes hurt her. We celebrate your life today, Aji, and send you with love and light and gratitude for all that you represent in our lives, to take with you as you move on beyond this world